Good day to one and all. This is Dr. Uma Maheshwari, Assistant Professor from the Department of Business Administration. I am here to share a few ideas that I have related to time management. What is time management? Any time when you ask a work to be done, we always give an excuse. Yes, I don't have time. It is not like that. We all have time. Only thing is we are not. We do not know the ways and means to manage the time. There's a saying, time and tide waits for none. Of course, it is true. Each and every minute is something which is very precious. A person who wastes time is one who fails to create their own identity. There is no such thing that I was busy all the day, I could not do that, no busy and all. These are all the lame excuses we give for not able to do the work. So talking about time management, it refers to using the right time for the right activity. We need to prioritize what has to be done first, what has to be done next. Unless and until you have a proper time management practice, it is very difficult to do any work that it's been assigned to us or that we are supposed to do. So making the best use of time, as time is always limited, because this 1 minute, this 1 second is gone, it is gone, it cannot come back. So any time what we are doing work, when it has to be done in a purposeful way. These are the few time management tips that we can follow it on a day-to-day life. Effective planning, setting goals and objectives, setting deadlines, delegation of responsibilities, prioritizing the work, spending the right time on the right activity. Let us see one by one. What do you mean by effective planning? See, there is generally one thing. Planning is an easy task. Everyone can do a plan, but only thing is how we are able to follow the plan is very important. Talking about effective planning, how do you plan your day? How do you plan your work? How do you plan even half an hour you are spending for a work? How are you going to plan that? How are you going to set, what is the timeline for that? So if you are having a timeline, always keep a watch on the timeline you are doing. Next is setting goals and objectives, whether it is a small work or a bigger work or a detailed work which takes up for 1 month or whatever it is. Unless and until you have a goal, it is very difficult to achieve the work you have planned for. Always targets are something. Targets does not bring in stress for an employee or a student, but targets helps people to achieve that the work that has been assigned. Important thing related to goals and objective is deadlines. So this work has to be completed within this particular time. That should be a deadline. So talking about a deadline, of course it will be a little stress, because stress is a part of life, and positive stress is something which is very very essential, that keeps us going. So when you set a deadline, what is the time limit? So suppose if you are doing a work for 1 hour, so when you are doing the work for 1 hour, how are you going to divide the 1 hour? Of course we need to have a break, we cannot continuously work for 1 hour. So when you are doing it for 1 hour, how are you going to practice it? How are you going to prioritize it? How are you going to draft your deadline? So how much time needs to be devoted for each and every particular task? When you're devoting time for each and every particular task, have a time limit, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes of it. When you're taking 10 minutes of break, definitely it has to be completed within the 10 minutes of break. Even you can take a short nap. So within that particular 1 hour, you can take a break. You can spend a few minutes in social media. There is nothing wrong in that. One thing that matters is how are you going to set the time limit. Next is responsibility. Unless and until we own the work we do, we will not be able to complete it. Second one, unless and until we own the work we do, we will not be able to complete it within the allotted time frame. An employee who does not have even enough knowledge needs more time than someone who knows the work. So before you could start, have a lot of homework in what you're going to do and what are the responsibilities delegated for that particular work. So when you know the responsibilities that is delegated for a particular work, it will be easy for you to complete the work. Next is prioritizing, which is important, which can be postponed a little later, which can be done at a later stage. Prioritizing the work is very important. I'll tell a small story. You have a jar, and in that jar, stones has to be added, few pebbles has to be added, water and sand. How will you add? Well, suppose if you fill the jar with water, you cannot add any of the things because the water will spill. The procedure is, the first priority will be the stones, the second priority will be the small pebbles. The small pebbles will take the part in the in between places. Then comes the sand. Sand will even go at the deeper stage, and the final one will be the water. Prioritizing is very important. The last one is These are the few of the techniques. So first is prioritize, finish your work in time, plan well ahead, and you should be able to differentiate between which is important and which is can be done at a later stage. Whatever you're doing, even if it is 5 minute work, you should be focused. And any work you do, you have to love that. Unless and until there is no life in the work, you cannot do. Always fix a target which can be achievable. It should not be unachievable target. Do not overburden or overload yourself, or be punctual in the work you're doing. Organize and love the work you're doing. Once the work is over, the off feeling is very, very important. Hope this presentation on time management was useful for you. Thank you for watching and listening.